just put it in 2 months ago. We don't have any open.
Getting close, Mike.
I know it.
You guys good? Anybody need a?
Do we want to do a countdown like New Year's Eve?
Yes, sir.
You have your hammer in there?
Don't have one, but we don't need. All right, we're gonna open this planning and zoning meeting at 4 o'clock today. And the first, item on the agenda today is approval of the minutes from the November 3rd meeting. So I was not at the meeting. If you guys have reviewed the minutes and everything is okay, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second. We have a motion and a second, all in favor? Item 2A on the agenda, final plat for Creekside Apartments has been pulled. So we will get into the public hearing phase of the meeting. And item 3A is an ordinance to change the zoning from R1A Single Family Residential with an accessory dwelling unit to RT on 402, 405, 406, 407, 409, 410, 11, 13, 14, 15 Water Street. So you want to get us into this, Drew?
Yes, sir. West Water Street,
West Water Street.
400 block. You can see on the map there which lots this includes. On the east corner, 400 West Water Street is already zoned RT. Across the street is a planned development district for an existing business, so we didn't include that one. Here's the future land use plan showing this area. It is part of neighborhood residential. We've talked about that before. It does include some limited local service, commercial or non-residential uses. Obviously, RT is still a residential district, but it does include some of that small, very small scale non-residential uses in RT, offices and minimal retail and so on. You can see the adjacent block, or excuse me, there we go, zoning. The adjacent block is zoned RT, and there's those two lots that are not included in this request. And with that, I'll actually turn it over to Mr. Nimke, kind of taking charge for the block.
Hello, thanks for your time, guys. I'm Russell Nimke. I live at 515 Elm Street. It's kind of right around the corner. I also own 411 West Water Street, and I'm mainly here just kind of answer any questions that anybody might have and go from there.
Well, let's get into the public hearing, and then if we have any questions to the public hearing. So we'll
Sounds
open
good.
the public hearing on this at 4:02. And according to Drew, we had no opposition to this recommended zoning change. I do have two speakers. I mean, Chris, would you like to speak?
I only came in case there was questions as well, or if there was any opposition.
And I guess, Lawrence, since you took a shower, you're gonna speak?
I did. I'm cleaned up for this presentation. So I'm just here for a
Give
bit
us
of
your name.
history. My name is Lawrence Walker, and I do live on that block at 406 West Water Street. I am the last permanent resident, so-called permanent resident on that block. That shows what's happening in that 400 block. You know, I have good neighbors, good friends doing this. So my family is conflicted about it. My father owns the property. He's concerned about raising taxes. But overall, the family is conflicted. So my central theme is to be neutral to what's going on. Not necessarily positive or negative, but neutral for the family because we see the upsides and the downsides to what's happening. My dad used the word inevitable, perhaps. But my concern for the board here is to keep in mind the 2050 plan, neighborhood quality, things like that. Even if you do this, simply reinforcing the idea that I still live there, people live there who are not as permanent as I am, but you know, quality of life is always an important aspect, and I just hope you'll keep that in mind as well as you go forward. Thank you.
And I think that under the RT zoning, anything that's put in there has to keep the neighborhood, has to keep the residential look. So I think that's a protection for you there. We have quite a few of those. Do any of the commissioners have any questions on this?
There was this letter in my packet in opposition.
Oh, I didn't get that. That must be just recent.
Oh, excuse me.
And then yesterday, that's
My apologies. Yes, you're correct. There was the letter.
yeah, please.
Okay. no reason why, they just opposed it.
That's at 509 West Main.
Any other questions? Kevin, you have any questions? No. All right, if we have no questions, then I would entertain a motion on the zoning change. Let me close the public hearing. We'll close the public hearing at 4:04. And then, we have no questions. I would entertain a motion on this issue.
I'll make a motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve the zoning change to RT.
Second.
We have a second. All in favor, raise your hand. All right, this motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you for your time, guys.
Thank you. We're gonna move on to 3B, an ordinance to change the zoning from R2 medium density residential to C2 light commercial on Lot 1, Block 5, Legion Hills, located southwest of the fire station. Drew?
That's right, this is a parcel adjacent to the fire station in Loop 534. As you can see on the map, there is a drainage way that flows behind this property, separating it from the neighborhood behind it. This is part of the transitional residential place type on the future land use plan, which is single family all the way up to multifamily. Again, the limited non-residential is included in that description as well. This property being, or fronting on the Loop 534 and having no immediate adjacent neighbors except the fire station, having that separation with the drainage way behind it. Staff supports the request based on the future land use plan. Here's the zoning map. It was zoned RC as part of the original neighborhood. When we redid the zoning code, that transitioned to R2. Obviously, I wouldn't expect any single family or duplex townhomes on this lot, being that it's fronting on the loop. So up for consideration, and again, staff supports the request. The applicants are here if you have any questions. I'd be pleased to answer any before or after the public hearing.
I have no letters of opposition in this packet, is that correct, Drew?
Yes.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and open the public hearing on this at 4:07. We can hear from the owners if you guys would like to, speak at all.
Yeah. Do I need to get on the mic?
Yes, sir. do
Okay,
that.
all
And
right.
tell us who you are.
Yeah. So I'm Chris Cawthon. I own and operate C3 Swim. It's a swim school here in town where we teach swim lessons to kids from 6 months to 18 years old. And we do adult swim lessons as well. And so we're looking to take a portion of that property and put a small pool in there in about a 5,000 square foot building to take our swim school operation to a new location. Right now we teach swim lessons right up the road, 1407 Water Street, so the Center for Fitness, and we're just kind of outgrown our space. And so, yeah, we're looking to put a pool there and teach kids how to swim.
Great. Any questions for these guys? Any comments? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
I'm gonna close this public hearing at 4:08 and open for discussion, guys. Any questions or any comments? I think it's a great idea.
I think it's awesome.
If there are no questions or comments, I have a motion to approve the zoning change.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Raise your hand. The motion passes. We're gonna move on to 3C. An ordinance to annex into the city of Kerrville the corporate limits with a zoning classification of PI, public and institutional land use. 0.08 acres of land. Drew?
This is at the intersection of Lehman Drive and Leonard Drive. This was a piece of property acquired by the hospital with their project moving forward with the parking lot and their other master plan. This will end up being right-of-way as part of the intersection as they realign Leonard to Lehman at this hairpin turn. But it does need to be annexed into the city since it will be city right-of-way. So we're recommending zoning of PI, since that is the adjacent zoning. Zoning goes to the center of the street anyway, so it wouldn't have any adjacent zoning because that next parcel is outside the city limits. But just for consistency's sake, recommending PI, even though it will be right-of-way. That is within the Catalyst area number 2, which is focused around the hospital, the mall, and that influence that those major catalysts have on that area. And Mr. Pizor is here from the hospital if any have any questions.
Well, let's open the public hearing at 4:09, and then if you wish to speak, you can. I assume there's no opposition, Drew? And if you don't wish to speak, then I'll close the public hearing. It's up to you. Okay, well, go ahead.
Sure, I'll just, Joe Pizor, 551 Hill Country Drive. And so just as Drew mentioned, this is part of the off-site parking that we have for the surgery center. And so this was initially a piece of property that we thought that we had purchased with the 157 acres that was purchased behind the hospital. Unfortunately, Kirkad's records were incorrect, and so this small parcel of property is needed in order to do the road improvements to really make that a safe intersection as people are entering and leaving that off-site parking area.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So public hearing is closed at 4:10. Any questions, any comments for anybody? All right, I'll entertain a motion on 3C.
So moved.
We have a motion to approve.
Second.
Second, all in favor, raise your hand. You got anything for us, Drew?
Yes, I want to thank Mr. Tuttle for his service to the Planning Commission.
This is Mr. Tuttle's last, he's 3 terms in, P and Z, we thank him for his
Wow.
service.
Yep, absolutely. Other than that, we have a next scheduled meeting on January 5th. The deadline for applications is tomorrow. I don't have any cases yet.
So we may
Should
have
have-
a meeting on January 5th.
Should have 1 plat.
But
So the plat deadline's not till later this month. But unless we just have a mad rush tomorrow that I'm not aware of, should have a pretty light meeting in January.
Well, appreciate you staff, guys. You've done a great job this year. Thank you for your service. If we don't get to see you again, you guys have a great Christmas.
Absolutely, you too.
It's pretty amazing how easy this is when we don't have any short-term rental applications.
You missed a good meeting last month.
Sorry I couldn't be there.
And I guess I can, part of the staff report, I'll give a brief update. The permit that planning and zoning recommended as part of the zoning change, or along with the zoning code amendment, is going to second reading, city council on December 13th. So the permit to operate the short-term rental, my count is correct, should go into effect the 30th of December, so January 1st. There's, of course, the council allowed some leeway for those operators. 6 months, is that what we said?
Something like that, I can't remember exactly.
I gave operators 6 months to get their first permit. So once we get rolling into 2023, those will be going through, getting their permits and, or renewable permits. So that was kind of the last piece that P and Z recommended, with
So you
relation to
feel
that.
good about that? That doesn't come before us.
That's right. Yeah, that's the, more or less a business license. So allows them to operate what rules they have to operate under, notifications and so on. But that'll move forward to council.
I
Be
know
good.
they wrangled a little bit on it.
Mhm.
They did a good job, and I think that'll work out. All right.
That's all I have. Excellent. Thank you, guys.
Wow. Shortest meeting I've ever been to in my life.